All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we look ahead to the NFL draft by giving you a review of who looked good in the East West Shrine game. Watch that the other night. We'll give you a full review, and there's one local player that really may be of interest to the 49ers who really emerged in this game. We'll talk about him as well coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them the Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corners, sports cards and collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. My good friend Anthony Catania can be reached down there at 831-521-5264. And this video is also brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. They're a proud sponsor of the Krug Show as well. Mancini's offers a 120-night guarantee with a range of brands and price points. With Mancini's, you get free next-day delivery. Man, I'm loving my Mancini's bed. Click the link below. Go to sleepworld.com. Find a bed that works for you. Whether you shop online or visit in store, use the code KRUG10 at checkout, and you'll get 10% off. Again, that's KRUG10, K-R-U-E-G 10, and you'll get 10% off on your mattress purchase in any of Mancini's locations or online at sleepworld.com. All right, let's talk a little bit about the East-West Shrine game. It was played on Thursday night and in Frisco, Texas. It's a kind of an underrated all-star game. I used to do the sideline reporting for this game when it was at Stanford, and then for a while there it was played in San Francisco. Now it's in Frisco, Texas, and they support the game better outside the Bay Area than they did here in the Bay Area. That's not a surprise how much they love their football. But let's talk about the three guys that stood out. And there were a few. There were more than probably four guys that really stood out. And a couple guys on defense, and one DB and one offensive player. We'll start with the offensive player. I thought the real star of the game was Ja'Cory, the the running back for Arizona, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He's a 5'10", 206-pound redshirt senior. And he went to Sidney Lanier High School. His hometown is Montgomery, Alabama. And man, he looked good. He only played one game for Arizona. There was some debate over his eligibility and how much eligibility he has left, but clearly he's in this NFL draft and will be drafted in this cycle come April. Good football player, really good football player. Good running back, can catch the ball, can run. I'd love to see what his 40 time's going to be. He before he was at Arizona, he was at New Mexico. He led New Mexico with one of the greatest seasons ever by a Lobo running back. He rushed for 1,190 yards in 12 games on 189 carries, 17 rushing touchdowns. He was absolutely fantastic. Before that, he was at Alabama State. So Alabama State had a lot of success there. Then he's at New Mexico, has a lot of success there. Only appeared in one game for the University of Arizona. But just watching him this week in the practices and then watching him in the game, he's just a very impressive player. I think he's a back that Kyle Shanahan is really going to, maybe like in this draft. Why? Just because he's got speed. He's got speed, and Kyle likes speed in his running backs. He likes guys that can get to the edge. In this game, he showed some early promise. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt busted off a big run in the first quarter and really looked good. He also rushed for a touchdown in the second quarter, giving the East side an early lead after a 2-point conversion. He just really looks explosive. He's not the biggest back of all time, but what he is just a really, really athletic, fast running back who has enough power to run, through arm tackles. He was named the game's MVP. He ran for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was fantastic. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. And the 49ers have already met with Krosky Merritt. So there's reason to believe that they may like the running back from University of Arizona. The other guys that really stood out to me in this game were guys on the defensive line. I mean, this is a tremendous defensive line draft. We've talked about it quite a bit, but it really is. I mean, everywhere you look, there's a new good player on the defensive line. I mean, there's going to be great players drafted all throughout the draft. And I'll give you 3 defensive linemen that really opened my eyes. One is J.J. Pegues. J.J. Pegues is from Oxford, Mississippi, played at Ole Miss, 6'2", 3 1/4, and super athletic. I mean, super athletic. He was All-American honorable mention. He was all SEC first team. Just a really good football player. He was an honor roll player as well, so he was a smart kid in the classroom. He was SEC first year academic honor roll. And just a smart guy. He's got great movement skills. They used him as a short yardage fullback, and they used him as on the goal line and in short yardage. And J.J. Pegues can get his 320 going in 2 steps. I mean, you don't see generally the big guys, they have more build-up speed, but not J.J. Pegues. He is absolutely 2 steps, and he's at full tilt. And he looked great in this game. He had an interception. He's causing havoc. He looked great in the practices. J.J. Pegues, and I love this player. To me, this is a 4th-round pick. I'd love to see the 49ers draft this guy. He converted. He started off at Auburn, played in 24 games over 2 seasons there, converted to defensive line from tight end during spring practice in 2021. And but I mean, you can tell he's got big-time athleticism. He's got great hand-eye coordination, really smart. He's got his bachelor's degree already in multidisciplinary studies. J.J. Pegues, super athletic, can rush the passer off the interior. Is going to be fantastic in the NFL. I love J.J. Pegues, and I think he's like a 3rd or 4th round pick, maybe 4th or 5th, but he's a mid-round guy for sure. Now, another guy who they talked a lot about in this game, and I've been talking about, I already bought his T-shirt to support his NIL efforts, and that's Nash Hutmacher. And he plays next to Ty Robinson for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And Hutmacher is just a monster. He is one of the great wrestlers in the country. He's 166-0 as a wrestler. He's just really, really intriguing. I mean, just a fantastic talent. Now he's going to have some good plays, some bad plays. He's a 0 technique, 1 technique. He's a nose guard. He's a run plugger. He doesn't give you tons as a pass rusher, but 6'4", 330 from South Dakota. Honorable mention All Big Ten, academic All Big Ten. As I said, 166-0 as a wrestler. I love the wrestling angle here because it's all about only one person wins. And Hutmacher, as I said, went 166-0 from his freshman year to his senior year in high school. He's one of the great wrestlers of his era. He went 43-0 as a senior. Each of his wins included a pin, including 30 that happened within a minute. This guy's a beast. And he's just, he's completed his degree in management. He's gonna get an advanced degree. He's gonna go to grad school. He's a 3-time academic All Big Ten selection. Him and Ty Robinson wreck shop. I'd love to have both of those guys. I really would. And Hutmacher he's just one of those guys. He's gonna be a day 3 guy, probably 6th round, but he's real. He's real, and he's fun to watch. Another guy that really stood out in this game was Tonka Hemingway, which is one of the great names you're ever going to hear. Tonka Hemingway. And his dad, I guess, called him Tonka because he reminded him of a Tonka truck as a kid. He was 3rd team All-SEC this year and SEC Fall Academic Honor Roll. And he's just explosive, really explosive. 6'3", 290 pounds, 1-gap penetrator, smart kid. As I said, academic honor roll. 61 games, played 5 seasons, and man, this guy is a really nice 1-gap penetrator that can play in a rotation. Smart, athletic. The motor revs hot. His name's Terrell Hemingway. He goes by Tonka. He graduated in December of 2023 with a degree in public health. He comes from a super athletic family. His brother, Junior, played football at Michigan and for the Kansas City Chiefs. His sister, Shemai, played basketball at Coker College. He has another sister that pitched on the Francis Marion softball team. So it's a very athletic family. Tonka Hemingway from Conway, South Carolina, by way of the South Carolina Gamecocks. And this guy just can rush the passer, 1-gap penetrator, and go. And it's funny. I like all 3 of these linemen. They're all kind of different. Pegues is 320 and can really hold 2 gaps and still rush the passer. Nash Hutmacher is more of a nose guard. He's a run stuffer who's just literally not going to move at the point of attack. And Hemingway's a 1-gap penetrator, rush the passer. He's really, really impressive. So all those guys look good. Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, Nash Hutmacher, Tonka Hemingway, J.J. Pegues. But my favorite player in this East-West Shrine game is the Cal Bear corner, Noel Williams. And I'd love the Niners to get Noel Williams. Cornerback from Cal, good size, 6'1", 200 pounds. They're projecting him to go right around pick 120. So I think that's going to be the early day 3. So I think he's a 4th-round pick, maybe a 5th-round pick. He's a redshirt senior. He went to Pacifica High School and graduated in 2020. He went to UNLV, 3-year starter for the Runnin' Rebs, and then transferred. He's from Oxnard, California, down in Southern California, and just a tremendous player, a very productive interceptor. Had a bunch this year. He had 2 picks against Auburn this year. He's also a special teams ace. He's a kick returner. He's a punt returner. He had an 80-yard kickoff return against UC Davis in the first game of the year. He showed up big in the big game. He had 8 tackles against Stanford in the 2024 big game. What I love about Noel Williams is this guy, he reminds me a little bit of another Cal guy from yesteryear, and that's Delta O'Neal. He's fluid. He's got great ball skills. In this East-West Shrine game, in the game itself, he looked great in practices in the one-on-ones, but then in the game itself, he had a PBU, knocked the ball away, and that led to what should have been an interception. The interception was dropped. He sniffed out a running back screen in the 3rd quarter and made a great tackle. He played really effective bump and run coverage. He was named to the Shrine Game all-practice team throughout the week. He had wound up in the game with 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 PBU. To me, there's really 2 things that are just really separate Noel Williams from a lot of corners that I've seen this year. One, he's got good size and speed. Definitely good size and speed. This is exactly what you want. He's probably going to run in the 4.4s, 6'1", 200-pound corner, but he's got elite ball skills. The ball's in the air, it's his ball, and he competes for it, and he is an incredibly competitive football player. So very, very competitive football player. If I'm the 49ers, I'm drafting Noel Williams in the mid rounds. So there were other guys that look good. Jalen Conyers, the tight end from Texas Tech. Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle from Maryland. Holland Pierce, the offensive tackle from Rutgers. There was a lot of good players. But to me, the guys that stood out the most, Nash Hutmacher, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, J.J. Pegues, Tonka Hemingway. And if I had to say the guy that I would love to see the Niners get that was in the East-West Shrine game, give me Noel Williams. Give me Noel Williams in the 4th or 5th round, and I think he could play 10 years for the 49ers and be a very, very productive corner in San Francisco. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Mancini's for sponsoring this video. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.